does a single man become the most feared enemy of an entire army? And what would drive Soviet soldiers to nickname him the White Death? This isn't just another war story. During World War II, this Finnish farmer became the Red Army's worst nightmare, and here's how. How does a simple farmer become a legendary sniper? Simo Häyhä was born in 1905 in the small village of Rautjärvi, near the Russian border. Growing up in the rugged wilderness of southern Finland, he lived a quiet life as a farmer. But what did he do in his free time? Instead of just farming, Simo spent his days sharpening skills that would later make him famous: hunting, shooting, and skiing. At 17, Simo made a decision that changed his life. He joined the Civil Guard, a Finnish paramilitary group similar to the US National Guard. This wasn't just a side activity, it was where his talent for shooting really stood out. How good was he? Simo quickly became known as an exceptional shooter, winning many target shooting competitions and filling his home with trophies. But what made Simo such a deadly shot? It was his intense practice. During his time with the Civil Guard, Simo became very skilled with the Finnish version of the Mosin Nagant rifle and the Suomi submachine gun. He wasn't just practicing for fun, he was hitting targets 16 times per minute from 150 meters away. That's impressive, especially since the Mosin Nagant is a bolt-action rifle with only a 5-round capacity. This intense training didn't just make him accurate, it prepared him for the tough conditions he would face in war. So, what happened when World War II came to Finland? In 1939, the Soviet Union, seeing the chaos in Europe, decided to invade Finland. They thought winning would be easy against the smaller Finnish forces. But were they right? Not at all. The Soviets underestimated how well the Finns knew their own land and their determination to defend it. How did the Finns fight back against such big numbers? Even though they were outnumbered, the Finnish forces knew their land well and used guerrilla tactics to fight the Red Army. Simo Häyhä, now an experienced marksman, was sent to the Kola battlefield, where he faced overwhelming odds. Simo and just 31 other Finnish soldiers held off 4,000 Soviet troops. The Soviets had no idea they were up against a man who would soon be known as the White Death. How did Simo Häyhä become so feared so quickly? It started on December 21, 1939, when he took down 25 Soviet soldiers in a single day. His tactics were simple but deadly. Dressed in white camouflage, Simo would crawl to his spot in the snow, carrying only what he needed for the day. Then he'd wait, sometimes for hours, in freezing temperatures, staying perfectly still until his target appeared. How did Simo avoid being seen? He packed snow in front of him to keep the muzzle blast from disturbing the snow and revealing his position. He even put snow in his mouth to hide his breath. These small tricks made a huge difference in the snowy landscape, where even the smallest sign could be deadly. Why did Simo use iron sights instead of a scope? Scopes can reflect sunlight and fog up in the cold, making them risky. By using iron sights, Simo avoided these problems and kept a lower profile, which helped him stay hidden and effective. How did the harsh Finnish winter affect Simo's success? The extreme cold, often hitting -40 degrees, was tough on both men and their equipment. Weapons would freeze up, but Simo knew his rifle so well that he kept it working perfectly. Where did Simo set up his firing positions? He chose spots with natural cover, like snow-covered trees or dips in the ground. One time, he picked a spot under a tree with low branches, blending in perfectly with his surroundings. What did Simo do to prepare his position? He was thorough. Simo built up snow around him for extra cover and to stabilize his rifle. He also kept the area in front of him clear, so that each shot wouldn't create a puff of snow, which could give him away. This attention to detail was key, especially in long battles. How did the Soviets react to Simo's rising kill count? They realized he was a serious threat and sent counter-snipers and artillery to try to take him out. But Simo kept racking up kills. He would find a good spot, often under a tree, and wait for Soviet soldiers to appear. Why did the Soviets go to such extremes? They were frustrated that they couldn't stop Simo, so they started shelling entire areas where they thought he might be. But Simo stayed calm, trusting his preparation and the cover he had chosen. Even when artillery tore his coat, he didn't flinch. What impact did Simo have on the Soviet troops? His nickname, the White Death, was well-deserved. Stories spread among the Soviet soldiers of a sniper who couldn't be killed, who seemed to vanish into the snow and strike with deadly precision. This fear was just as powerful as his shooting, breaking the morale of soldiers who were already struggling with poor conditions. How many kills did Simo achieve? By the end of January 1940, he had 200 confirmed kills. The Finnish government gave him a custom rifle, but he stuck with his trusted Mosin Nagant. By the end of the war, Simo's kill count reached an incredible 505 confirmed sniper kills, all within 100 days. He also reportedly killed another 200 enemy soldiers with his submachine gun. What made Simo's achievements really impressive? It was his consistency. While some snipers had a few good days, Simo maintained a high kill count every day, averaging 5 to 6 kills daily. On some days, he far exceeded this with 40 kills in a single day at his peak. What was the overall impact of Simo's sniping? He wasn't just taking out soldiers, he was demoralizing entire units, forcing them to change tactics or abandon their positions. His incredible skill and determination had a huge impact on the course of the war. If you're enjoying this video so far, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for more content like this. What happened when Simo faced his toughest battle? In early March 1940, Simo led a squad of Finnish soldiers against a much larger Red Army force. The fight was intense, with enemy soldiers sometimes just a few meters away from Simo, but then disaster struck. Simo was hit by an exploding bullet that shattered his left jaw. How bad was it? His comrades thought he was dead and placed his body among the fallen. But then, they noticed a faint twitch in his leg. Incredibly, Simo was still alive, even though half of his face was destroyed. What happened next? Simo was quickly evacuated and spent 3 days in a coma. When he finally woke up, the Winter War had ended. He had to undergo 26 surgeries to reconstruct his shattered jaw, using bone grafts taken from his hip. Despite these severe injuries, Simo made an incredible recovery. His ability to survive such a life-threatening injury showed just how strong and determined he was. What did Simo do after the war? After the war, Simo returned to a quieter life, but his legacy as the world's greatest sniper lived on. He was promoted from corporal straight to second lieutenant, the biggest rank jump in the history of the Finnish military. He was also honored with numerous awards, including a specially made honorary rifle. How did Simo spend the rest of his life? Simo settled into a peaceful life in the Finnish countryside, living on a farm given to him by the government in 1961. He continued to hunt and even took up dog breeding, winning several awards for his efforts. In 1970, he moved into a small apartment where he lived quietly until he passed away in 2002 at the age of 96. What did Simo think about his time in the war? When asked about his service, Simo remained humble. He said he didn't feel anything towards the enemy. He simply did what he was told to do, as well as he could. And when asked how he became such a skilled sniper, his answer was straightforward: practice. Simo Häyhä's story is more than just a tale of incredible marksmanship. It's the story of a man who represented the spirit of his country during one of its darkest times. His legacy as the White Death is a powerful reminder of how one individual can make a difference. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to click on the next one for more amazing stories from history.